Welcome to the Plant Trainers Podcast, where we're helping people improve their quality of life through nutrition and fitness. And now, your hosts, nutrition and wellness coaches, international speakers, Adam and Shoshana Chaim.
Hey, I'm Adam Chaim.
And I'm Shoshana Chaim, and we are Propelled by Plants.
Today we bring to you episode 318, Podcasting Led Us to This.
Well, most people know that the podcasts that we had out during July and August were pre-recorded, and doing that little introduction with you, for a minute I forgot what I was almost going to say.
Well, it's been a little while. We were traveling and moving around, and now we're back, and hopefully people enjoyed those short episodes during the summer, and this one's also going to be relatively short compared to the normal interview style and shows that we have coming up after.
Yeah, but we are getting back with the mug and the introductions and everything like that, and we are bridging into September, and September we really do have a really great lineup of interviews, and of course, we sometimes do one just us on our own, but we are really excited for the doctors we have coming up, for the transformation stories we have coming up, and for everybody else that's going to offer you amazing content as usual to help you improve your quality of life.
And we're really excited for today's episode. We think you're really going to appreciate what we have coming up, and can't wait to hear what you think. And now for a moment of gratitude.
This summer, the weather has just been amazing. It hasn't rained much, and when it has been overnight. So I'm just grateful for being able to be outdoors in the nature, go for walks after dinner, all those things that Canada does not always award you the privilege of doing year-round.
I'm grateful for the trip I had overseas, and I was in Europe for the last 5 weeks doing a lot of work there, and things went relatively well. And I ate some great food, saw some great places, met some great people, and now I'm back ready to rock and roll.
Today, drumroll please, we are opening the gates, or we have opened the gates, I should say, for the Vegan Podcast Academy.
Very exciting.
We are so thrilled that we have so many people. Like, from the second we told people about it, there was kind of like a little lineup, and it was a little bit flattering and humbling and really exciting for everybody else. So many people have been asking us how to start a podcast, where to host a podcast, how to grow their numbers like we have. And all of those questions really started coming in, and it made us realize that we've always looked at the trends of what people ask us to know what people need to know, and that was one of them.
Yeah, so we're starting the Vegan Podcast Academy basically because so many people have been asking how to do it. And so what we've decided is to put together this program where we are going to be able to share all those ways, tactics, techniques, systems that we've used to get to where we are. And today we're putting out episode 318 and still on the go with many more to come.
So our podcast has really brought you, the listeners, a lot of different things. And I'm sure that it's brought you a lot of things that we don't even know about. But when we work with some of you as one-on-one or group clients, when we get emails or DMs or PMs or comments on some of our social media at Plant Trainers, we get a lot of different feedback from you. So we know that we've given so much inspiration, information, and motivation for those of you out there. And it's not just us, it's podcasts in general. Podcasts in general are giving that to people, whether it's a health podcast or some other form of podcast. It really does inspire other people to be their very best.
And essentially, everybody's success that they're gaining because they're listening to our show or another show, it's not because of anything specific that we're doing. We're just a tool that's being used to help people get them to where they want to go. And that's exactly what podcasts are able to do.
So when people email us and say they've lost 100 pounds or they've lost 80 pounds, and it's because of them listening to our show, we're so thrilled to be able to give them that tool. But really, we need to applaud them for taking the action and running with it. But it feels good to know that we're providing that opportunity for them to keep going and learn more and make tweaks along the way. We've had a lot of great interviews with with a lot of guests. Some of those guests are listeners with their transformation stories. Some of those guests are A-line doctors. Some of those guests are amazing fitness personalities. So it is really fun to be able to, kind of schmooze around with so many great leaders in this industry.
And what we've been able to do is really spend some more time together as husband and wife, learning about something that we're both very passionate about and sharing that message out with you, our listeners. And it's really given us that platform, as you just mentioned, to share not only our story, but other people's stories that may not be heard otherwise. So podcasting has really turned into a mainstream platform that's changing lives on so many different levels.
And that's what makes us feel good about showing up to work every day. It's also allowed us to grow our brand, right? So we have Plant Trainers, and from the time that we created Plant Trainers to the time that we created a podcast, there wasn't too much going on really. But as soon as the podcast started to catch fire or be known, we became more of an authority in the plant-based community. And, we've had so many amazing opportunities to fly around North America, Canada, and the US, speaking at different speaking engagements, health fests, veg fests. And it's been a lot of fun, showing up to those and being able to spread our knowledge even more.
Yeah, we've really developed a network with our listeners, with the community, the plant-based and the vegan community. And that's because of this show. It's really put us out there, given us a platform to really share our story. Our stories have been featured. My story was featured in Forks Over Knives magazine online. And we've been in other articles and other magazines, on TV and radio shows, on other podcasts, just sharing our story because it's such a great platform to reach so many people. And what did that lead you to?
So that led me to a book deal, which was totally exciting. It's really hard to get a book deal with a traditional book publisher. You need to first land yourself an agent, and then the agent needs to basically market you. And having the podcast and having the download numbers and the online communities that we have, that's attractive to the publishers as well, because they want to know that you could sell books. So having the podcast, I believe, played a really big part in me being able to work together with that publisher.
And it's always fun. Like, I was just traveling in Europe and being recognized overseas even. Like, you go to places and people would recognize you, and it's pretty cool feeling. I mean, when you go to Veg Fest, obviously people are going to recognize you as for who you are. But now we're being seen as podcasting experts, and that's just another layer to our professionalism and the work that we do. And after 4.5 years and putting out our 318th today episode, people have been asking us how to get their podcast started. And so that's really why we're here right now, telling you about this program.
Yeah, they want to know, how do you get your podcast started? What equipment do you need? What software do you need? Does it cost a lot of money? Where to host your show? How to host your show? How to grow your numbers so that you're not just podcasting to your mom, like I think we may have been at the beginning.
When we started. Yeah, we started off not knowing if anybody was listening. We were just basically talking to ourselves. And then over time, we didn't have all those answers that you just mentioned, and slowly we've put together some systems and put them in place, and that's helped us grow. And we know that we have an audience that actually is engaging with us because we get messages from them, emails from them, DMs, PMs, like you mentioned earlier, all the time.
And if you're one of those people who have, interacted with us, amazing. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. If you're one of the people who are sitting at home saying, it's all right, I don't have to because, there's other people doing it, or I'm just me, or I'm too shy, please do it, because we find that it helps our journey and it helps your journey as well. And it's really exciting to interact with people. So we love hearing from you. So don't feel like you shouldn't reach out. Definitely reach out. And, at the beginning, we reached out to other people. And that's really what started us to be able to get such amazing guests on the show. If I would have sat inside my bubble and been kind of shy, I don't think we would have had the caliber of guests that we've had on the show. And all of them bring amazing, information to you. So never be afraid to reach out. And if you have that idea sparked inside your head, like, hey, I could start a podcast about smiling or laughing or gratitude, or, so many of you have skills out there that we don't even know exist that can help other people. And if you're someone who wants to help other people, or have thought about other people, or you've done something in your life that has really shifted your life and really helped you, you can help shift so many other lives as well.
There are so many podcasts out there right now. There's, I think they said, over 700,000 podcasts currently available for download. And the problem with them is most of them fade out within a year. And in order to maintain longevity, you need to be consistent. You need to find a message that's going to stand out. And most of those people just get really frustrated with the whole process because they don't know exactly what they're doing. And if you have a message or a skill that you want to get out to the world, you have that opportunity. Podcasts are very different than radio and TV in the fact that people want to listen, they will download your show. So if you could find a way to get a little creative and get your message out there, you're going to find that people will attract to you and they will want to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah, 75% of Americans are listening to podcasts. And when people are on social media, they're there to tune out. They're there just to kind of like say, what's going on in my friend's life? Or I don't want to think about the work I have to do right now. But when people go to podcasts, they're looking for information. They're looking for things to improve their quality of life, especially in this, health realm. And they want you to get in front of them, and you don't have to be this huge personality. You don't have to be like a jokester, or you don't have to swear or anything like that. You just have to be you and show up and create something that can help other people. I mean, podcasting is so big that it brought in $600 million in ad revenue in 2018. So, that's not people selling stuff. That's just companies paying people to promote them.
And that's not just us.
Yeah, it's definitely not just us. But the reason I say that is because companies are only going to put their money where it's going to make more money. So if all of these companies out there are paying upwards of $600 million to podcasts, then that means that there are listeners. There are people who are looking for innovative things out there, who are looking to improve their life, who are looking for things to make them whole. And I think that's huge. Podcasting is just so big, up and coming. Gary Vee says, if you're some kind of coach, or you're somebody who could help somebody and you don't have a podcast, then, it's not really, he would say you're leaving money on the table. But for me, I'd say you're leaving a gap in somebody else's life because you have something that could fill it for them.
And the beautiful thing is also that it's a worldwide podcast. There's no barrier. You're not stuck within the walls of your state or your province or your country. This can go worldwide. And they just said that in the UK alone, podcasting will be the main form of media surpassing radio and television, which is mind-blowing if you really think of that, because people are really downloading and hooking into the messages that interest them. And that's why products are piggybacking onto them. And that's why there's so much in that ad revenue.
And we know that a lot of you, because we've interacted with you, are already coaches or trainers or consultants and helping people already, whether it's your full-time business or your side business. So starting a podcast, because of all the reasons that we've been talking about for the last few minutes, can definitely help you out there. But we also know that there are so many of you who have your plant-based certification, or who have a triathlon coaching certification, or who have different skills, whether you've been, in HR for 30 years, all of you have skills. And I know that a lot of you have talked to me about wanting to one day help other people, or not feeling like you have enough experience to help them. But what we've realized in the last little bit with all the questions coming in about podcasts is that podcasting is a great way to get started if you're not started already. You kind of work with coaching people on a grand scale, and start to see little leads and little clients trickle in, because people have heard you, people have listened to you, people trust you and know that you're the person who can help them through it. And you kind of gain confidence in that. So if you're somebody who's been thinking about maybe starting a consulting business or a coaching business, a podcast would be a great place to start just to get comfortable.
Yeah, I remember 4.5 years ago, I said to you, let's start a show. Let's start a podcast. And you said, what's a podcast?
I think it's
come
like
a long
5.5
way.
years ago. Yeah.
5.5 years ago. And then it took you a year until you actually said, okay, let's do it. And we were ready to put our message out. And I had no idea what to do. Really had no idea how to put it together and had to do a ton of research and figure out how to get things done. And now we're in a position where we've put it all together for ourselves. We're comfortable with it and we're ready to share the process with people that have messages that they want to share out. And that's what led us to answering the question that everybody's been asking, how do we do a podcast? And that led us to the Vegan Podcast Academy.
Yeah, and we definitely have done a lot of things right to be here today and to have you, to be blessed with you here listening to us today. But we really did a lot of things wrong too. We spent a lot of time on Google. We wasted a lot of time. We had to try things out. We didn't know what we were doing. We were losing track of guests and they weren't showing up. So there's a lot that we have tweaked and really managed to be really successful and fast track at over the last couple of years. Our first year was a little bit of a mess. But now when people are asking us for help or when we are helping people with it, we're helping them fast track through those messes and those oofs and goofs that we made because we've learned our lessons very well.
Yeah, and we've created this program to help amazing, compassionate, plant-based vegan people just like you and those to get a high-quality podcast off the ground in under 30 days that's going to make a big impact in your business and in your life.
You could almost think of it like, everybody knows P90X. You could think of it like P30X, how to get your podcast up and running in 30 days to start, Xing your business or Xing the amount of clients you have coming through the door or Xing your confidence, whatever it is that you want to grow with, you're going to be able to grow here. And we have prepared a little online thingamadingy or training or whatever it is that you want to call it. We created that for you guys so that you could learn the 3 shifts that we made that made a huge difference in shaping our podcast, shaping our business, shaping our brand. And we really want you to come and learn that with us.
And we did that because we want to help people like you use your skills and your compassion to really shine. And the more we're achieving our mission and helping you do that, then we know that we're helping improve your quality of life and those people around you. Do you want to tell them a little bit about what's in that training with those 3 shifts?
Sure. So, think of this based on where you are, because some of you are kind of like, yeah, I've been wanting to get into coaching or consulting or starting my own podcast. And some of you are, yeah, I'm already in a business. How do I use this to as leverage? How do I grow my business? So kind of take what works for you in here, but just knowing that, these are the types of things that you're going to learn. Some of them are going to be really great for you. Some will be great for other people. But basically, we're going to teach you how to spend less on advertising. If you're spending a ton on advertising, you really don't have to, especially with a podcast. How to spend less time on social media looking for clients or people to help. How to scale quickly and grow your tribe week after week. Showing up everywhere that your audience is, because Facebook is really not the way to do it, especially with algorithms these days. How to attract and retain ultra loyal clients or ultra loyal listeners. And how to make real measurable change in your own life and in your own business. And from that, you can become a sought after speaker where the media is chasing you for your story. You could be recognized in your community as market leaders, and it could really give you a sense of belonging and purpose.
I think the best thing of the whole thing is that it's really going to be an easy process for you if you go through this whole thing with us, and you're going to have fun doing it. And at the end of the day, the training is really going to help you take that big leap into getting your podcast started with the Vegan Podcast Academy.
Yeah, so if you wanted to register for our thingamajiggy, you could visit us.
I still don't know what a thingamajiggy is.
Well, I mean, it's a bit of a training. It's not really a webinar. It's just there. It's kind of like an extra podcast teaching people teaching people things. But if I say training, it's like going back to school.
Right. So it's a thingamajiggy.
It's a thingamajiggy. Anyway, if you go to the Vegan Podcast... No, let me try that again. Anyway, if you go to veganpodcastacademy.com, you'll be able to register for that thingamajiggy, and you can have a listen to those 3 shifts that can really help you move forward in your life or in your business.
And of course, we'll put a link to veganpodcastacademy.com. We'll put it into our show notes at planttrainers.com/318. For anybody who's driving, riding, training, or doing something away from their computer right now and can't write it down, you can go to planttrainers.com/318 and get the link there. And we hope you register because we'd love to see you there.
Yeah. And of course, every podcast that we do has actionable tips. So your actionable tip is go to veganpodcastacademy.com. Register there.
Get it done.
Thank you all so much for listening to this edition of the Plant Trainers Podcast. We want to make sure that you subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platform.
We really appreciate the feedback we receive from you every time we get a 5-star rating or review on iTunes from one of our fans. It really helps other people find us just like you did.
Thanks so much to our patrons. To become a patron, visit us at patreon.com/planttrainers. Even supporting us with $1 really makes a difference in the quality of the show.
And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram and Twitter. Our handle is @PlantTrainers. Like Plant Trainers on Facebook, join our newsletter, and check out our website at planttrainers.com for awesome recipes, a list of our services, and of course, our latest podcast.
We encourage you to email your questions to info@planttrainers.com so that we can help you improve your quality of life through nutrition and fitness.
So we hope we've inspired you today. Join us again next time,
and have a healthy day.
Or is that too corny?
It's a little cheesy.